Whoa, whoa. I wonder if the projectionist got to keep his job. Ironically, the LA Board of Education hated this short so much, John Given got fired. He was given the old heave-ho. Feed me. I said feed me. A distributing company should be centrally located. You wouldn't want the in-the-middle-of-nowhere company trying to distribute stuff. Ow. Ow! Ow! His mother's back is shattered. So this company discriminates on the basis of age and gender. I'm guessing that the racism, while unspecified, is pretty much a given. They said to leave it blank. God, if you can't follow directions. Well, I guess knowing how to spell your entire first name wasn't required for the job. I hope he asks a lot of young white male questions, because I prepared for those.
This looks all right.
Of course, we never asked you to draw a pirate, but...
I need a steady job, Mr. Wiley, with a chance to go places.
Like Mars.
Now, this one job you had with the Central Distributing Company.
It sounds made
You worked
up.
there for 18 months?
Yes, sir.
Why did you leave?
Because I wasn't getting anywhere. After 18 months, I figured I was worth more than they were paying me.
And they paid me in soup.
And I figured I was ready for promotion to more important work.
Like that brain surgery thing.
Honest, Mr. Wiley, it was a rotten company. I don't know why I stayed as long as I did.
I mean, I like soup, but...
Were you fired?
Yes, I was. But it wasn't my fault.
It was your
The
fault.
company just up and started firing people. Retrenching, they called it. What do you think of that?
Sounds fun.
I think it's a pretty normal situation. A business has to live within its income.
Unless you're every .com ever.
Many factors affect that income. Sales, general economic conditions, the development of new industries that replace old ones.
The cost of shadowy offices with no perceivable light source.
Businesses often go through periods of adjustment and reorganization when they're forced to let people go.
I didn't do anything. Why me?
Because you're a
You said
tool.
that in 18 months you hadn't gotten anywhere.
That's right. Other fellows who started later were promoted right over my head.
Of course, they were
much
window
more do you
washers,
need?
so...
Couldn't you see the company valued the other fellow's services above yours?
Duh.
I thought I was doing fine. What did I do?
Well, do you
Expect me
smell?
to answer that?
No, sir. I guess you wouldn't know.
Actually, I probably do know. Better than you do.
Of course, my tie is brighter than you,
I have no
so...
business taking time for this, but... Well, I can't help thinking you might really amount to something if you'd set your mind to it.
I have these urges.
Trying to see yourself as your employer saw you.
As an inferior being.
Better still, let me give you a picture of a case I really do know. It's about a young man who came to work in our shipping room here. And another young man.
And the lady who done them
We
wrong.
begin work here at 8:30. That's the time to begin this business of keeping a job.
At 8:29, you could snort
And that's
whatever
the
you
time
want,
Bob
but
Addison began work
8:30...
every day. We could depend on him to be on time.
Okay,
do
so
his
let's
work on
see.
time.
After I cut the
You might
blow,
call
I still
him
have to make
an
the
eager
sauce,
beaver.
sell the guns to
But look at it from the
Jimmy,
employer's
call
point of view.
Karen.
Wouldn't you like to have Bob working for
Doesn't
you?
matter how often you check them, your SAT scores
Dependability
don't
is one of the
change.
main keys to keeping a
A
job.
little
and getting
mayonnaise,
ahead.
slice of American
Now,
cheese.
dependability
Yeah, that'll get
includes
there.
a willingness to work. Some of the work in our shipping room is hard work. That's why we've always had two fellows working there.
Ugh, who sends an engine block by
Well,
mail?
fellows who are supposed to be working. The other fellow I want to tell you about is Walter, Bob's brother. Bob's twin brother.
Bob's pay only one actor,
But the
brother.
resemblance is only skin deep.
Or split screen
Look at
deep.
Walter from the employer's point of view, and you see how not to
I
keep a
knew
job.
Dewey would defeat Truman.
Look at him from Bob's point of view, and you see how not to get along with your fellow workers.
Look at him from space. He's an
On the other
insect.
hand, Bob would be popular wherever he worked.
Even hate Bob
You
Enterprises.
know he would do his share of the work and help others who needed help. Cooperation is another way to keep a job.
He's gonna ask if we could just put both of our names on Mom's birthday gift. I just know it.
Walter finally decides to go to work, but A job he was supposed to do first thing.
He was supposed to invent faxing 30 years early?
Actually, he was supposed to run them off the evening before. But he put it off. This is how not to be dependable. How not to cooperate with the company and with your fellow workers.
This is also how you lose a finger. Be careful.
Poor Walter. Who should come into the shipping room but me? The boss always seems to find out.
Thanks to my spies.
Walter's manner gave him away.
We didn't even need the DNA.
Now, it isn't hard to learn to make good, clean copies on a duplicating machine.
On this ice cream maker, on the other hand, it's practically impossible.
I had to criticize Walter for making poor copies. And it wasn't the first time he tried to alibi his way out of a situation.
No, Senator McCarthy's campaign flyers are
was,
important,
Walter
but...
just couldn't take criticism. Yet how can a man expect to improve on a job if he won't listen to the very people who can help him?
Blackmail?
Just before closing time, you'll find Bob getting the shipping room ready for the night.
3 hours later, you'll find Bob passed out in the bathtub with an empty bottle of Old Crow.
And you'll find Walter getting himself ready.
What?
So he won't be a second late punching the clock.
Ow.
An employer sees this as a sure sign that a man isn't really
Huh,
interested
he's
in
flipping
his work.
off his own other hand.
I ask you, if you were the employer and had to cut down your staff, which fellow would you keep?
That's not hard to answer.
Clean fingernails are
Why didn't you
important.
go ahead and fire this, Walter?
Now, don't be too hasty.
He does have mob
I'm only
ties.
telling you about Walter's bad points. He did enough work to hang on to his job.
Also mob ties.
As long as times are good, there'll be jobs for fellows who just barely do enough to get by.
His forehead's pushing James
But to keep a
Vanderbeek
job when the
levels,
going
isn't it?
gets rough, you need to insure your job. Make yourself so valuable your employer can't let you go.
Because he loves you, damn it.
We've talked about dependability and cooperation.
Now let's rap about it.
Now, another prime quality is initiative. And for once, I have something good to say for Walter.
He taught me how to spell initiative.
It's not hard to understand why he was unhappy whenever shipments were left just inside.
Ugh, how many staplers can you people possibly need?
Packages had to be hauled all the way across the room for wrapping, then hauled back again when they went out.
The whole yard and a half?
If you don't like the way things are done, you can spend a lot of time complaining about it.
Okay.
That was Walter's usual way. But this time, he got an idea, and he knew what to do with it.
He shoved it straight
In
up
every
his...
company, there's plenty of room for improvement, and the management usually welcomes suggestions from employees.
Oh god, he's inventing the blog? Oh,
Walter's
no.
idea was a practical one, so we adopted it. The company benefits...
Huh, it's
through
like they
time
took Adam
saved and
Smith's
less
observations
handling
on the self-interest of the labor force and the
Fellows in the
resulting
shipping
increase in
room
efficiency of
benefit
methods of
from having one of
production
their harder
and managed to
jobs
make these
made
principles
easier.
somehow even more
And Walter improved
boring.
his standing with his employer by his display of initiative. But one good
What's a
mark
six-letter
isn't
word
enough.
for goofing off? I should know
One
this.
day, not long after, Walter was taking advantage of a lull in the work, and Bob was bringing the shipping records up to date when...
I was getting blind drunk on martinis and calling it a meeting.
What you got there? Shipment for you. Wise guy.
I guess we know what Colonel Hogan did after the war.
Well, finally. The stuff they've been running in here asking about every hour for the last 3 days. Sign here.
They do love their gummy worms.
That's the way it is in this company. They wait till they've run out of something, and everybody runs around like crazy. No system. And nobody in charge with enough brains to start one.
Could I deal with the version of you on the other side of the split
You don't
screen
like the
effect?
company, why do you work for it?
Me, I work for a swell outfit. I'm proud of them.
Maybe I'd like to work for them. Could they use me?
What for? A press agent?
Oh, that sounds fun. Do you need experience? Hey!
Yes, Walter found out that nobody thinks very much of a man who talks against the company he works for.
That's why whistleblowers burn in
What
hell.
did Walter gain by making that false statement about his company? Nothing. Except trouble for himself if it got back to his employer. Which it did.
His brother named
Guess
names.
it's not very different from the way I was talking to you about the place where I used to work.
Well, there's a saying, If the shoe fits.
Oh, the shoe fits all right.
So you must acquit.
You knew it would, didn't you? Yep, I could see
Is
my
there a
shortcomings
spark
all
between
over
these
the
two?
place. Dependability, initiative, cooperation, and loyalty.
And Brylcreem deficiency.
I could have done a lot better on every count.
You can do better. Come on.
Yes, sir.
I'm walking you to the parking lot.
Well, Bob, I've got a
These
new
aren't black
assistant
market
for you.
kidneys?
Bob Addison, this is Ed Blakesley.
Hi, Ed. Glad to meet you.
My full name is Ed Wood.
Bob's a good man to watch. As soon as he trains somebody to take over here, he's moving up to assistant purchasing manager.
After a brief stop in rehab.
Hey, that's great. Mr. Wiley's been telling me about you and your brother.
My brother?
You know about my
Yeah,
vestigial
your twin
parasitic
brother,
twin?
Walter.
I had a point to make, so I invented a twin brother for you.
For the 50s, that was a
You see,
pretty normal
in this
description
twin,
of where
Bob,
babies come from.
I was really describing Bob's poor conduct on the job when he first came to work here.
Poor conduct? How
you
about
mean when I
managers
was
who
loafing
discuss
on
their
the job
subordinates'
around here
disciplinary history with their fellow
I get it.
employees?
And then you... Well, if you can... Say, Mr. Wiley, did I ever tell you about my twin brother?
He has my name, face, social security number, and his picture's up at the post office 'cause he steals things. Thanks for watching.